Stevenson High School in Sterling Heights with Frank Siemaszko. Frank, I understand you're in World War II?
Yes, World War II.
All right, where did you serve?
England, and in France, Germany. We were a little bit, but we were designed to be signal supply people, or signal supplies. That's what my rank was tech sergeant, which was warehouse foreman, and I was supposed to have supplies ready for the troops, and signal supplies that they needed. And they were supposed to go on the 4th and the 5th, and we didn't land because the waters were rough. And on the 6th, I think Eisenhower said, we're going to go. But they couldn't put us on. We were 25 men, and a weapons carrier were attached to the 5th Engineer Brigade. We were assigned to them. And 25 men were assigned to another group, which is Omaha Beach. And then they were supposed to go, Eisenhower said they're going to go on the 6th of the month, what we D-Day. But the water were off the first day, and we were very lucky because we had a life preserver. Then we had a gas mask. The gas mask was made like a V, and it had it under your chin. If you were wounded, or if your life that you think you're punctured by stuff in the water, this would keep you, well, if you weren't too bad injured, that'd keep you afloat.
Okay.
So that was something different. So, as I said, 25 men for Utah Beach, assigned to the 5th Engineer Brigade, and 25 men were assigned to the Omaha Beach, which I was in. And then the other beaches were for English, and then for 3 more beaches to the right of us. And if you have any other questions that you can ask for, well, I might be able to clue you in. I don't know.
Okay. Were you ever injured in the war?
Pardon?
Were you ever injured?
We had no casualties in our outfit.
Okay.
We didn't have. We were very lucky.
Yeah.
But like I say, we moved with the Army as they moved up every time, so we moved up with them.
Okay.
We used to get the telephone poles, cross arms, and everything at the beginning. And I was an uncommissioned officer by being tech sergeant, but I was also the warehouse foreman. That's where I had authority to really load the stuff so it doesn't get piled in the middle and you couldn't put nothing anymore.
Okay.
If you have any other questions on something like that?
Did you have any wife or kids at home during that
Pardon?
time? Did you have any wife or kids at home during that time?
Yes, I was married. My wife is 3 years younger than I am. And we had a daughter. I don't remember, we had 3 children. I don't remember if they were, let's see, I know our daughter was the oldest one. So she lives in Calgary, Canada right now. But by being with the thing, the war ended. The troops, we went back to Sherbrooke, and they were bringing all the signal supplies. Were going back to Sherbrooke because the war in Japan wasn't over, and we were going to load the supplies, pack them and load them, send them back to Japan. So as we were working on that, the war ended. So we did that took care of that part of it. If you have any other questions,
Yeah, okay. After the war ended, what did you end up doing? What did you do after that?
I mean, civilian life?
Yes.
Well, I was married. My wife was 3 years younger than me. And my father was in the First World War. And he was mustard gas and wounded. And he was from Poland. My wife was born in Poland. And he was, you know, say, oh, I told you he was from Poland, what else do I know after that? When we were married, I already had one daughter. And one daughter, she's living in Canada now.
Okay, and what did you do for a job after the war?
I worked for General Motors. General Motors, I retired from General Motors when I turned 85.
Oh, wow.
And so I was in General Motors.
All right. And before the war, what were you doing? Were you in school? Or?
Before the war, I can't recall, there wasn't too much going on. I worked at one of the shops that make cushions for automobiles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was a cloth cutter. And then later on, I got a job at General Motors, and from there it was much different. I can't think of what else that you might be, any of the questions, you have the same thing there, don't you?
How did you end up being in the, were you in the Army?
I was in the Army, yes.
How did you enlist, or how did that work?
No, they drafted me.
Did you want to go? Or?
It was not a question if you wanted to go, if the war was on, I was of the impression, well, if you got to go, they'll take you. I was interviewed by the draft board man and asked me questions and whatnot, and then that was it, and then I was drafted into the Army then.
Okay, and how did you feel about that?
Well, I felt the country's at war, and part of my job to be to help, just help the situation, whatever would be needed of me. But I wasn't too much afraid of that. I'm surprised myself that I wasn't really bad. One of the fellows come in with me on D-Day. He was so shaken up so bad, and he says that he wants to go back. I told him, if you go back, they'll take you back. But if they take you back, you'll be the sorriest soldier who ever lived. The next day, he settled down and he was all right. Our company was, I think, 200 and some men sitting, and 25 men, and the weapons carrier was Utah Beach, and 25 men in the weapons carrier were Omaha Beach. And I was in the Omaha Beach section of it.
Okay, and did you go through any training before going overseas?
Yes, I went to Camp Crowder, Missouri, for training in signal corps supplies and stuff. So I was in there in Camp Crowder, Missouri.
Did you want to explain your pictures?
Let's see what pictures I have. This is me. We're going on our moving up. This is a very good friend of mine, and this is me here.
Okay.
And we were just moving to the next room, because every time Army moved, we moved with them. And flashlight batteries were growing so much that we had our box of flashlight batteries was this big, and probably this big square loaded with batteries. You had to have a crane to get it off the truck, because the batteries were going like they were flying batteries for troops directly to us. They're coming in by plane. I don't know what other questions I can.
Right. I know you had other pictures of, and here I think.
Well, these are two pictures.
Oh, that's the same.
Yeah. And this one can be donated, and this one, if they want to donate this. So I'll leave these in the end. Okay.
And what exactly is the story behind this?
Right?
What exactly is the story behind this?
Okay. When the war ended in Europe, it wasn't over in Japan. And went back to Cherbourg, and we had German prisoners working for our stuff, packing the stuff. And they were packing their stuff, and then the German prisoners we had, they would give a pack of cigarettes. They would put this stuff in on the socket. This is about a 5-inch casing, I think. This is a 37 millimeter. But so this has the different cities I've been into. See?
Okay. That's a lot. Nice.
And this one just has that and a statue of Liberty.
Okay.
So they, for a pack of cigarettes, they made these for me, you know.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. I do have a copy of my discharge if there's anything on there that you would like to look at.
And what is this?
Discharge. I discharged from the Army. It's a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
See, that says Rhineland, Normandy, Northern France, Rhineland, Central Europe, and Ardennes. And then I had 5 bronze stars, and I also had one from Arrowhead, so, which was
5 bronze stars?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
that we were always in big battles. So when the battle was here, we moved up. There was another one, and those that stayed behind didn't do it. There were troops behind us that were not called. But we moved up with the Army.
Okay. Alright, do you remember the day you were told that you could go home?
I forget the exact date, but it was about, let's see, about 6 weeks before the whole company come in. I was married, we had a child, and then they give you points for the areas we were in, because we were always in a battle area. And so I was sent home. In the meantime, the war ended in Japan, and I was sent home about 6 weeks before the rest of the company was sent home.
Okay, how did you find out that, or through a letter, or?
Oh no, that's what they told us. I don't remember how we were notified, but they evaluated the areas that I've been to and what, and then it says, let's see, what else can I say to that? They said I'd go home before the rest of the company, because the rest of them were not in there. Just 25 men were in Omaha, 25 in Utah. So I knew we were going home sooner. Let's see, what else could I add to that?
And did you make any friends in the Army?
There were quite a few. There were a lot of boys from Michigan in our outfit.
Okay.
A lot of them. And yeah, like this one here in particular, they want to have a picture here. And here. We were good friends. There's Leo Rainville in there. So as we were moving, we stopped for a while on the road and then moved on to the next location. So these can be donated if they want.
Okay. And did you stay in contact with the friends you made after the war?
Well, yeah, with quite a few. Last one I was with was Leo Rainville, and he died November, January, February, March. He died in March last year. So and then some of the others I used to go know they were around and from the neighborhood. They all died by now, right before that, you know. But some of them that they were so close to home, so it was easy to contact them, you know.
Yeah.
But But out of the 25 men in Omaha Beach, most of them were pretty good. We used to hang out a number of times. But then, like I say, I had enough points to go home
Yeah.
sooner. Have any other questions that you think I can add to that?
Yeah, what did you do on your off time during the war? I know you worked. How
Pardon?
did you have fun or entertain yourselves?
Right in the war?
Yeah.
I don't think there was much entertaining. No. There was a lot of work, and like I said, we were here, Army moved up, and right along the line we moved
Yeah.
up ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you asked the question, I might think about something else that happened.
All right. How did you communicate with your family? Through letters? Did you communicate? a lot?
With that email, I think they had in the Army during the service, and I think
Oh, really?
I don't know, Vmail or email, I don't know what it was called.
Okay.
That's, we would send that, because there was photograph, and it sent the message to the respective outfit, and that's how I contacted between home and myself.
Okay. And what was your most memorable experience in the war?
I'm glad it was over. I'm
Really?
tired.
Alright, is there anything you liked about the war? Just
Well,
what
I
do you think
mean,
is it?
there's something, I don't think there is anything that you like about the war, because you're in it, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you think you got anything out of it?
Pardon?
Did you think you got anything good out of it?
Oh, I think, yeah, I was a better man. I was able to, like I mentioned, that one man wanted to go, and I said, if you go, the first day, they'll let you go, but you'll be the sorriest soldier in the world. But I was not affected that way. I seemed, I was tech sergeant and a warehouse foreman, and I did my job. I can't think of anything else right now unless,
Were you ever in combat?
no,
No.
we were, our combat, every time combat, we were within combat range, but we were not in combat.
Okay.
So when the troops moved up, so our companies broke down into sections, 25 men in Utah Beach and 25 men in Omaha Beach. And the company being broke down like that, the rest of them were headquarters, and they were repairing the sets. The regular sets they had, I can't think of the name right now. They were repairing, and we were storage and issue.
Okay. How long were you in the war for?
3 years, I think, and 21 days, something like that.
Alright. Were you ever in where you felt that your life was in danger? You said you were in combat rage.
Yeah, but, no, I for some reason or other, I wasn't taken aback by that. I figured I'm doing a job, and I have no problems with it. That was a good idea to be that way, you know.
Yeah. So did you not have any dangerous experiences, or did you?
No, nothing. The worst we were in the area. The worst part was from D-Day invasion, because they weren't sure if we were going to land, because waters were rough, and Hitler and his group went back to the back country. They figured U.S. was not going to invade, and finally on the 6th of the month, Eisenhower says go. That's when they put us ashore.
Alright, where did you spend most of your time? I know you've been to England and France.
England, France, let's see. What's her name?
You can come back to it later if you want.
What?
You can come back to it later if you want. You think of it.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Well, we were in Belgium, in the Battle of the Bulge. Have you heard of that? During the war?
What was that?
Battle of the Bulge.
No, can you tell me what is that?
That's when the Germans broke through. When we were in Verviers, Belgium, they were shooting these rockets. When the rockets, you hear the rocket, you're safe. Once it stops, you'll reach, I think, wing. Maybe it's going to drop down. That was the fight, the thing that the Germans had then.
Okay. And what was the battle called?
Battle of the Bulge.
Okay.
Battle of the Bulge.
Alright.
And then we were in Verviers, Belgium. Then half of we were on our group was in the Valley Lake, and on top of it, they called us out at the middle of the night because all kinds of stuff was flying, and the Germans were acting up, you know. So we figured that, the officers figured that we might have to burn our supplies, but they didn't. They didn't. By further on in the morning, half of the fellows that went to Namur, the other half were left in Verviers, Belgium, and we got a hold of it. We had about 40 cars of signal supplies out of there, but the cars that were used for signal supplies were about half the size of ours. So this group was loading them, we were unloading them further back in Namur, Belgium.
How were the living conditions? When you stayed, you said you moved from area to area a lot, but
Right.
while you probably stayed overnight in some areas, right?
Yeah, we did, but when we traveled, we were a separate small unit, then we were assigned to this company for food. Once the company ate, then we could go and eat then too. And we just hope that there's enough, which always was, but I mean, that was a joke then. So we will always be attached to the area, in the fighting area.
Did you live in like camps or?
Well, I was to Camp Carver, Missouri. That's the only one that's where we had signal team there. Then when I was in England, I was in a signal depot up there, and I got a chance to get myself organized how the stuff looks, because some of the stuff is not marked, but when it's marked orange, it's going to be the quartermaster. Green was quartermaster, orange was signal. So I knew from the painting on the boxes that what the stuff was for us. But I gotta say, I didn't smoke. I think I smoked one cigar in my lifetime, and a pack of cigarettes. I didn't like pack of cigars smoked because my buddy says, you gotta smoke it. I says, I'm gonna waste it. He says, I don't care if you waste it, you gotta puff on it. Okay. So that's why, and I think it's gonna be kind of an advantage that I didn't smoke.
Why do you think that?
Well, I have asthma,
Okay.
and if you got lung problems, that might affect you if you smoke.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I just didn't take to it.
That's good. And do you think your training prepared you for what went on over there?
Well, I think they did very well, yeah, right, especially in England. All of the stuff was training and all the stuff, and the people in England were real good with us. They taught us how the stuff is coming and whatnot. And let's see. Right now, I can't think of it right now, anything else in particular.
Okay.
Unless you have a question or so.
So you said you trained in England as well as here?
Yeah, in England.
Did you train in the U.S. at all?
Yeah, I went to Camp Crowder Signal Corps School.
Oh, what state is that in?
Missouri.
And how long were you there?
I don't remember how long, probably a month, but I'm not sure of that.
And how was the training there? What did they do?
Well, they told you what the equipment is and that, how to use it, how to dispose of it and whatnot.
Okay, and then England, how was the training different? Or?
No, training was all just as good. The training was in when the signal supplies were.
Okay.
So I had an idea of what's available, what'll be available. Sometimes you have just boxes marked green, red, and orange, and then sometimes when they were calling it in, they didn't know which room to go to. Sometimes they would send something that didn't belong to you, and you had to next day find out where it belonged to.
And you said the German POWs made this for you, right?
Yes.
Were you friends with them, or was
Well,
it just...
well, I don't know. In a way, you were friendly to them, because they didn't look like the kind of people that wanted to be fighting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they were German. They were under the German thing. They were, yeah, or what I want to say. I can't recall just what that was, but I can't recall right now unless something else comes up to me.
Alright. Now, did you have any friends that were injured that you knew from home that had also gone into the war?
No, I don't know. Because I lived in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and there was a lot of people in Michigan.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, those that were with me in the Army here, about a half a dozen, maybe more. We were real friendly. And the most friendly I was with Leo Rainville, the one you have a picture of in that envelope there. And he was I think about 6 years younger than me.
Okay. Alright, returning home, was it any way uncomfortable for you? How were you welcomed when you got
Oh, I
home?
was welcome. Everybody was welcome to see you. We came home on a Liberty ship. A Liberty ship was the one that was used to go up there, load it down with stuff, you know, and then we were on there with a limited amount of people, because I was sent home before with the points and everything. I was sent home about I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks, 8 weeks prior to the company. So.
So did your family meet you at the docks?
No. We were supposed to the Liberty boat was just a group of us on there. The propeller of the boat, you could look at the end of the propeller was this much out of the water. You know, very good. Because they were using Liberty ships, and they were loaded down before, but they didn't have a load to take. If you have any other questions, maybe I can.
So everyone was happy, like there was no negative feelings when you came home at all?
No.
And everyone was happy to see you. Was it any way, like, were you somewhat homesick since you had been overseas for 3 years?
I was sort of homesick, but you can't work at it that way, because you're up here to do a job, and unless you want to goof off, then you feel that way. But I figure when I'm supposed to be doing a job, and I'm doing a good job as far as I was concerned.
Mm-hmm. Do any of you have any questions you had in mind? Are you okay?
I did along the way, but now that I'm
Okay.
given the opportunity.
Okay. And I think where were you the most of the time? Like, were you in England the most or France the most?
We were in England a short time. I don't remember how long that was when we were in there. Maybe a month or so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then we went overseas, and as Army moved up, we moved up with them. So we were always in the battle area, and we never. The only time we got fed is when we would be in an area or whatever group that we were with. When that group of soldiers got ate, then we would go at the end of the line to get our food, but there was never a shortage of food. Have any other questions?
Was it good food?
Yeah, what did
Was
you
the
guys
food
eat?
good?
What?
What did you guys
have?
eat?
Whatever they gave me at that time, I was a fussy eater. I was, even up to after we got married, I was a real fussy eater. I didn't like some stuff.
Huh.
Wife always had a problem with that.
No questions, anyone else?
Trying to think.
But this is so new with this. My daughter's running this thing.
I know.
Yeah.
And she says if something didn't go right or what, she could easily get another session of it.
Oh.
Do you have any other stories you want to share at all?
Right now, I can't think of any. Probably after I leave here, I'll start thinking of them. But like I said, this one, the brick here, was my son heard about the museum. It was dedicated last year, the museum. So a friend of his came to see him, and he says he's going to be in there. My son told him, when you see the brick that he got, take a picture of it, and he did. And then he gave me this. And that was 215 Signal Depot Company, Omaha Beach D-Day invasion.
You can show that to camera if you want. Just hold it up to the camera.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Could he show those other pictures that he showed you too?
Oh, yeah,
The
definitely.
ones in this envelope here.
This was you and your friend.
Or some of his. Is there a picture of him in there?
Yeah, there's one more. When did they take this picture?
Oh, look at that good-looking man.
Definitely.
Thank you. I was 24, I think, there when that picture was taken.
24.
I was in Camp Carver, Missouri, training for Signal Corps. My wife came to visit me.
Oh. Looks like the young men that we're seeing now in the war. Those young men that are going now
Yeah,
to Iraq.
that's terrible.
Yes, it is.
If you have any other stories, feel free to share them.
If I could think of some, but right now I can't think of anything in particular. As I told you, the stuff
Yeah,
that I've been
that's you
through.
did.
You'll probably think of all kinds of things when you get home.
Well, I might have, but I think I covered it pretty well for me.
I think you did.
Yeah, you
I
definitely
think it's
did.
been a good interview.
I think so.
I think so.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
If that's all you'd like to add.
Did it go for, how long did it go?
It went for 33 minutes.
33 minutes? That's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
You did very well. Where were you getting all these questions? Were you-
Well, I was trying to see if I could find any more questions that I didn't think of,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't really.
When you were talking, I thought, I wanted to say, there was something that I would be interested in knowing, but then I forgot.
Oh, then you forget, yeah. Because after I started running out of questions, because he told me a lot, there's a lot of things, and I was like, maybe there's something I missed.
I think
This
you
can
did
be
very well.
donated.
Okay, thank you very much.
And this one has the areas, names of the areas that we were in. I think we better work side. I remember, the officers that were in our outfit and all of that stuff. But,